Come with me, I'm headed down the right path. I feel so brave, my head held high and I'm showing class. Dreams ignited, every day I truly give my best. I'm thriving excitedly to be the very best version of myself. I'm so bold and I'm so brilliant. I feel amazing, I feel so resilient. I'm so bold and I'm so brilliant. Feel so amazing, I feel so resilient.
Get to know Mel and Monique Roberson, public speakers, coaches, founders of the Roberson Resource Group, and authors of Love Beyond 40, a guide for Black women on finding lasting partnership. Mel and Monique Roberson, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
We are
Wonderful.
so good.
Yes, you are. Happy belated wedding anniversary to you.
Oh, thank
Thank
you. These 2 years have flown by. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, this is what I want to know before we dive in today is how did you two meet?
Okay.
Oh, a collective sign.
So we're going to take you on the short route because we ain't got that much time.
Okay.
We met in a similar setup to this. It was a interview for authors about their favorite books. It was called Book Versus. It was in 2021, so it was still a little pandemic-y. And we were both invited because we both have books and we were talking about our favorite books. We were invited by a mutual friend. Look at his face. We were invited by a mutual friend who I have known since high school.
All right, so here's the backstory that she never tells as part of the story. It's her story. It's our story. So this mutual friend is my younger brother's best friend. He's like a little brother to me also. And they played basketball together at Whitney Young High School in Chicago. She was the manager for the basketball team at Whitney Young High School. Now, there are several other managers who we're still friends with today. Everybody on the team, including the coaches, including the other managers, remembers me except her. She claims that she didn't know me when they were in high school, even though I was at the games almost getting ejected by the referees because I was yelling at the refs. So she says she didn't know me back then, and I'm gonna let her have that. But everybody
I was busy
else
fighting with the refs too, so that might be how it got missed. But he's 4 years older than me, so he was away at college, would come back. Fast forward though, 2021 April is when we have that virtual interview. We become friends. June 19th, Juneteenth, we decide to go for a hangout. We hadn't met in person yet and play miniature golf. So we went to play miniature golf, and girl, I fell in love on the first hole. I'm looking at him all googly eyed.
and I had no clue.
He didn't know nothing was happening.
I had put her in the friend zone. I was calling her little sis. I was trying to hook her up with other people.
It was a whole mess.
Yeah.
However, within a couple of weeks, he figured out what had happened, found his mind. We've been together ever since. And so June 19th, 2022, we got married on that same miniature golf course that we had our first hangout.
Love it. Now I didn't know that's where you got married. So that is a beautiful ending to the story. And now I get the significance of why you go back for every anniversary.
Exactly.
So
You got it, sister.
All right, well, let's dive on into this new book, Love Beyond 40. How did this journey lead to co-authorship? Did you just wake up one day and say, let's write a book together?
Well, so let's rewind to the Book Versus. When we had the interview and I heard her speak, I said, this is someone that I could work with. And I'm a purse comes first type person. So I wasn't even thinking anything romantic. I was just thinking we could do seminars, workshops, possibly write some books together. So I already had a vision of us being business partners in some form, shape, or capacity. And then once the romance started to evolve, it was easier we do a lot of other stuff too. We do professional development seminars together, but there were so many people that said that our love story provided hope for them. And we were like, well, okay, we haven't been married long enough to write a book about marriage, but we could write about the process that it took for both of us to be ready for a serious relationship. And that's really what the book is about. We sat down, we compared notes, and these are the things that I was doing after a breakup, or this is how I healed, or this is how I forgave myself, et cetera, all of these different principles. And then we were like, okay, a lot of these coincide. We did the same thing. But then there were parts where it was like, she said, well, I did this, this, and this. I was like, that's dope. I didn't do that, but that needs to be in the book. Or I say, well, here's something I did. She was like, that's dope. This needs to be in the book. So that's kind of how the book came about.
And I've asked everyone I've ever dated the same question. If we were to write a book together, what would the book be about? And because I just always saw this as part of my formula in life and love, to be able to be in business with my partner. So my formula for a relationship was husband equals business partner plus best friend. So that was always what I was looking for. And we didn't have to talk about, will we write books together? They just, it just started happening and unfolding. And it just felt right. One of the things that, because we both have marketing backgrounds, that we also did was not just a book to help everybody, because we realized that one of the most important things is to be able to hone in on helping a particular person. And so we decided that even though men do this work, we decided that this was a book for women. That if the women healed themselves and did the work, that the right men vibrating on the right level where they are, they would attract those men in a more powerful way. So this book is for Black women, though it would work for anyone.
Yeah.
This book is for
and
Black
there's
women.
even a section in the book where I say, give this book to a man, or let them read this paragraph. And I talk to the guy saying, this is for us too. This work is for us. These same principles work for us. But from a marketing standpoint, we understood, all right, here you go, women. And I kind of tell some secrets from a man's perspective that I probably shouldn't have, to give the women an upper hand on the dating scene.
It sounds like your differing perspectives really enrich the content of the book. I like that you kind of separated with a certain theme. I like that you've chosen an audience, even though it can work for anybody, at any age, really. But I like that you honed in, because there isn't enough stuff, I think, out here for anybody over 40. It feels like everything is written when you're just starting to get your footing in life. But, they forget about the 40-year-olds, like we need help too.
And so many have gotten kind of, stuck in our ways and disappointed over time from things that have happened. And that's really the thing I think that keeps us back the older we get, is that we get set in what went wrong and we forget to dream and believe and hope again in what can go right. And actually do the dating. Because somewhere in here, we just thought, oh, it's gonna happen, without actually doing the work, doing the dating, going through the numbers. You got to keep dating and kissing the frogs and putting the slip on
the princess.
And keep trying in order to actually have a love story.
I love that. Now, you encourage readers to stay open-minded about love and relationships after 40. Can you share a story or an example from your own personal lives where you knew you were open to new possibilities and better outcomes?
Oh, so I had a big breakup in 2020. June of 2020, which sounded like the scariest thing in life, because even though I'm an extrovert and I love to be outside and meeting new people, I couldn't. So I really had no idea how I was going to meet the next person or be in a next relationship. So it was the epitome of scared to start over, don't know what to do next. So the first thing that I did, though, was I started dating me real tough. And I had the best summer of my life in 2020. And it helped me personally to elevate my vibration. But I went online. I was like, I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna meet some people, I'm gonna see what's out here and keep trying. And that's what I did. And it wasn't, technically I met him online, but it wasn't from online dating. But I think that all of those intentional things that I did kept my open or closed, right? I kept myself open to finding love, so that if it turned up at the miniature golf course, I was ready to grab it up, girl.
Yeah. And I'm kind of the same. I had a very bad breakup in 2018. And it was in that moment that I'm like, I'm never going to do this again. My heart is broken, all of these things. And as I started the healing process and working on myself and realized that I do want lasting partnership. I do want companionship. I do want to grow old with somebody. And I said, okay, what type of person do I want to attract? And do I deserve that person? One of the things that we talk about in the book is sometimes people have this list of everything that they want in a person. And you have to really step back and ask yourself, do I deserve that? Am I that person? Am I vibrating at a level that would attract the type of person where I got all of these things on the checklist? If you want a man that's 6 feet tall with a six pack and makes six figures, is that type of person going to be attracted to the type of person that you are? And we have to take a serious look at that. So I was taking a serious look at myself, saying, okay, for the type of woman that I want, who do I have to become? And I was pretty much there for the most part, but the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. And so I looked for those things where I could improve. And that's some of the stuff that we talk about. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm ready. And, you know, she appeared.
What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of collaborating on this book together? Did you grow together as a couple?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we
sure.
found out so many new things because, you know, we just have known each other just over 1,000 days. So when you really think about it, it isn't that long, but we spend approximately 29 hours a day together most days. So since we work together a lot and travel together
What's
a
wrong
lot,
with you?
that's about accurate. We do so much together that being able to have those moments where we just have an idea, which might be first thing in the morning or last thing at night, to be able to take that, flush it through, and, you know, and pull it into something that we want to be in the book. We have been keeping notes for months about what we, you know, what that needs to go in the book and that needs to go in the book. And we just happened to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico one night for our daughter's track meet. Got back to the hotel and I said, well, let's watch something. Let's just chill. He said, well, you've been talking about writing this book. Let's just start that. I said, okay. And that is the beginning of, we named it that night. We started on the cover and then we filled in all the pages in between.
Yeah, and point of clarity, when she says our daughter, I have 2 kids from a previous relationship.
Yes.
Because you said less than 1,000 days.
Oh, that math
A
though.
little baby ain't finna be running track. So yeah.
I married into motherhood as they were, the youngest was becoming an adult.
Right.
And the other one's already grown off and now married, doing her own thing. So it's also the perfect time for motherhood too.
Right.
I love that you refer to his daughter as our daughter. You kind of epitomize the power couple because not everybody can work together with their spouse. Not everybody can spend 29 hours a day with their spouse, you know, and build. And I think that's what, you know, that's what I hope for all married couples, that you can see your spouse as your best friend and your business partner. So I tip my hat to you, and I hope that successfully you can create, you know, more couples like yourself.
Thank you.
And we know that we're a bit of an anomaly, right? So in the book, we don't say you should meet your partner and get married within a year.
Right.
Because that doesn't happen for everybody.
Right.
We are so much alike that we don't have to compromise on a lot of things because we think alike, we like the same things. And that's what works for us.
Yes.
In some cases, opposites attract, and people need that counterbalance of somebody different than who they are. For us, though, being the same person and having the same ideologies, morals, values, and so many different things, it was easier for us to make that decision in a short period of time because it's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror.
Yes.
Right. And so we're not saying, hey, you know, fall in love, get married,
See what happens.
see what happens. No. Like there's some things that need to happen or be in place in order for you to have that type of partnership. So our story won't necessarily be everybody's story, but these tools in the book are for everybody to prepare themselves for whatever's best for them.
You know, as somebody that was on the fast track to marriage myself, you know, I was on the accelerated program as well. I kind of love that though. I love that that's an example. Like if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I just feel like sometimes we get older and you start to kind of worry a little bit about like, am I going to find somebody? Do I want to give you 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a relationship just for it to blow up in my face? Now I'm 45, now I'm 50, now I'm 52. And it's that fear of starting over and over and over again. And all you can see is just years floating by. So although it isn't ideal for everybody, I get that. But I also like that it's there. I like that it works. You all prove every day on social media that it works. So I could see somebody being like, you know what? I could see myself, you know, finding that person and knowing and getting married in 6 months. That feels like that's the track I need to be on. So
yeah, and it can feel right because we had moments, Mel talks about the societal norms of how it felt to be making this decision so quickly.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, society says we should be engaged for a year, and then we should live together for a year, and then we should see if we're, potential to be married. But because of our lifestyle formula, we had spent so much time together. After like 6 months, he was like, if you had a representative, she would have showed up by now. And I said the same thing. So we just really felt more comfortable to just move forward, knowing what we wanted to do. And even from a business perspective, I said, we could do the Mel and Mo thing, but the Robersons, that sounds so much more powerful, that we are doing it and building, with intention and purpose for our future. And I think I've been an entrepreneur, girl, you know me for a long time. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. And I've always been told, well, girl, you need a stable man because your business is always different. You need somebody that's got a steady job, that's, all of these things. And I would say, okay, well, let me figure that out. So I was looking for this formula in someone who could not give me that, because no doctor, lawyer, businessman with a big power position working 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 could give me the kind of travel and, spontaneity that I really wanted in life. And so Mel is a very stable, but also entrepreneur. So there's always an understanding kind of that we're always working, and that even though when we're working, we're still always dating, and we kind of just ball that thing up together. And it works.
So the other thing that I'll throw in there too, as far as the fast track is concerned for us to get married, we also had a lot of the tough conversations right away.
Up front.
Right. So yeah, it was newness. It was like, oh, he's handsome. You gorgeous. We happy. This is fun. But then it was like, okay, I need to see your credit score. Like I need to know how you are with finances, right? I need to know what your family history is around health stuff. How do you take care of yourself? When's the last time you've been to the doctor? Have you had blood work, right? All of these things where people will be in love and happy
and avoid,
and then you find out, you with somebody that they make 100,000, but they spend 250. Nah, that ain't gonna work, right? So we had a lot of those tough conversations up front, and it was uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, but we got through them, and it was like, all right, now that that's out of the way, where can we go from here?
Mm-hmm. And we just had a lot of, similarities in goals and the things that we wanted to accomplish next. And so it was like, if this is our base springboard, from here, we can do so much.
Very good. Well, Mel and Monique Roberson, I want to thank you for being my special guest on the Chundria Show today. I thank you for being good sports. For information on your new book, speaking engagements, or just to follow your journey online, what's the best way to connect?
So lovebeyond40.com will get you to us with everything.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Get to know Renae Williams, founder of CoCoBella Naturals, a thriving hair care brand dedicated to hydrating thirsty curls.
Renae Williams, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Doing well.
Yes, you are doing well. Let's dive on in and chat about you today. I know your brand, CoCoBella Naturals, focuses on hydrating hair care products for those thirsty curls. Tell me about the inspiration behind your brand.
So the brand itself, as it relates to the products, I just feel like with naturally textured hair, there's so much stigma about naturally textured hair, and everybody thinks that it's bad hair or good hair, and those arguments. But from the way I feel about natural hair, that it's special and it's unique, and so when things are special to you or they're unique to you, you take better care of it. Just like with a name, like if you know someone's name, you interact with that person better because you know the name instead of just ma'am, sir. So that's how way I look at, like, with hair. If you have a good relationship with it, you'll take better care of it. And what I know about natural hair is that it requires a sufficient level of hydration to thrive. I don't subscribe to the number, letter, hair typing charts. I don't believe any of that. I just think that sometimes that's just causes more division between us. But if you love a thing, or if you learn to love a thing, you'll take better care of it. And so my line is all about creating an easy way to love your hair and take care of your hair, understanding that water is hydration, water is moisture. Your hair needs moisture and hydration to thrive. And so my entire line focuses on how to get hydration into your hair so that it can thrive and grow.
I love that you said, because I want to talk about that today, about our relationships with our hair, and how that it determines how we take care of it, for one. And then for two, I like that you said, let's do away with the division in the hair types. That really stuck out to me, because I do agree that it creates division, and it also creates esteem issues, and it's all of that is unnecessary because your hair is personal to you. So I know you personally have overcome hair loss, and that's why I'm assuming you become an advocate for chemical-free hair products. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. For years, I had different ailments, and so sometimes with medical issues, it's like a puzzle. You might go to this physician for this, go to this physician for that, go to this physician for that, and they never talk to each other. So you never really get to the root of what's going on. You just got all of these symptoms. And so it finally got to a point to where I had gone to so many physicians. I was like really, really low energy. I had hair coming out, and I couldn't understand why I was losing hair. I've always been a person back in my relaxed days to go to the hairdresser like every 2 weeks. I took good care of my hair, but I was still losing it. And so with the help of my physicians, we determined that most likely, because not only was I experiencing hair loss, I was experiencing upper respiratory problems, and we determined that the chemicals that I was using in the products to relax my hair was most likely causing that. I had really bad fibroids that led to me having to have a hysterectomy. And so I determined that for me, although the standard of beauty was supposed to be, long, straight hair, that for me, my health was more important. And so I decided to big chop to take care of my health and decide what to do with the rest of that stuff afterwards.
Walk me through, because you and I commend you on you've experienced so much, and then you turn this thing around. So it's like you go from taking care of your hair to taking care of everybody else's hair. What happened, between A and Z? How do we get there? Was that a process or a struggle or a challenge to learn?
What it was is that initially, when I big chopped, because I literally cut all of my hair off. And so that was a shock for me. When I looked into the mirror, I knew I was the same person, but I didn't look like the same person. So my ego, my self-esteem took a little blow, right? And so I was like, okay, I don't think I'm cute anymore. All those, you start to feed yourself that self-doubt, that negative. Did I make the right decision? And so I determined that if I was feeling that, there had to be a million other women who were feeling the same way. So women who had gone natural as a result of, just a choice, because maybe it was trendy, they wanted cute hairstyles, or circumstances, medications that they took, illness that they may have. But it may have come to a shock to them, because honestly, when you look at yourself in the mirror, especially when you take all of your hair off, your features are more pronounced, and so you look different, and you still have society in your head saying, girl, when you gonna do something with your hair, kind of thing. And so I just felt like I needed some support. So it started off kind of like selfish. I need to find a tribe. I need to find someone to help me through this. And with that, looking for support myself, I developed a natural hair support group. And it became important to me because so many of us, our hair influences how we feel about ourselves. I would go to brunch with you, but girl, I haven't done anything to my hair yet. Or I would go, we make a lot of decisions based on what our hair is looking like. And so it's important to me for women to learn to love their hair, and by that way, through that channel, also learn to like love themselves or re-love themselves. And so that's kind of how I got into like, oh, it's just not me. It was about me initially, but it turned into such something much larger than me.
I love how you prioritize the connection between self-love and hair care, you know. And I don't know that enough of us are doing that, are making that connection. And so you wrote an entire ebook about it, Keep It Simple Sis, the journey to healthy hair care and healthy self-esteem. You're connecting those dots for us. It seems like a really powerful guide to me. You know, how does it empower women, particularly Black women, to embrace their natural hair and enhance the self-esteem? What's the self-esteem part that you highlight in that book?
The self-esteem part is the fact that societal norms says that natural hair is unruly, it's unkempt, it's unprofessional. And so women, they ingest that and they live that. And so even like with situations where there might be a formal, a gala or a ball or something, women who are mostly comfortable wearing their natural hair will ultimately say, what should I do with my hair for this ball? Like, because they think that getting dressed up requires, something different with your hair. Like you've got to wear a wig or get a sew-in or whatever. Not that I'm opposed to wigs or sew-ins. I love the diversity of all the things that we can do with our hair. But it's important to understand that even if you have a ball gown on, you can still rock an afro. You can still, you can still have a twist out. You can have bantu knots, and you're just as beautiful with that ball gown and your fro as you would be with a, lace front or whatever. And so it's about switching the mindset, thinking that you can only be beautiful if you do this, instead of saying I can be beautiful even if I don't do that, or if I do this. Like there's a whole lot of choices. My beauty comes from within, and I don't allow society or others to dictate to me how I should feel about me.
I love your messaging. I love the heart that you have behind your brand, and that matters. You're not just out here trying to collect some coins and sell some product, but you are here to empower and inspire your clientele in the world at large. You want to come over and buy some products, but you are gonna be inspired after you get done talking to me. I'm inspired after talking.
I tell people, I say this in a joking way, but I really mean it. Like if you hang around me long enough, you're gonna be feeling good about yourself. Your self-esteem is gonna be through the roof, because you know how sometimes they say who you hang around, you become. Mm-hmm. So my aim is to have you leave me in a better place emotionally than you were when you came into my space. That's my goal. One person at a time, one curl at a time. I want you to leave here feeling better about yourself than you did when we sat down and had the first conversation.
Well, Renae Williams, I want to thank you for being my special guest on the Chundria Show. It has been a blast.
Come with me, I'm headed down the right path. I feel so brave, my head held high and I'm showing class. Dreams ignited, every day I truly give my best. I'm thriving excitedly to be the very best version of myself. I'm so bold and I'm so brilliant.